Welcome to the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, where we bring you a weekly dose of powerlifting news, tips, and training advice with a touch of 80s rock ballads. This podcast is presented by Team Roar Powerlifting, your source of the most comprehensive coaching and meet day preparation. Here are your hosts, Josh Rohr and Lara Sturm.
Welcome to episode 44 of Powerlifting and Power Ballads. I am one of your co-hosts, Josh Rohr.
And I'm Lara Sturm.
Welcome. We have a cluster of a episode today, just like every day. So get ready.
The cluster. Very good. Well, wow, I can't speak today. It's got me discombobulated. So in big powerlifting news in the USAPL world, the WADA drug testing requirement with the IPF. I mean, it seems like it's coming to a head, and I feel pretty passionately about it. Like, USA Powerlifting was started as the drug-free federation, and now with the WADA requirements that the IPF is kind of shoving down our throats, it feels like, it just seems like there's going to be a split with the IPF, and I think it's going to happen, or sounds like it's going to happen. And I would hate to see USA Powerlifting leave behind its roots in that way, just to stay with the IPF. Personally, I'm not even a member right now of USA Powerlifting.
You're not even a member for real?
I know. I'm not even a member right now. I'm like, oh boy, I guess I need to renew. I just realized, I was like, oh, I have nothing to lose because I'm not even a member right now. I let my membership lapse. I just haven't been doing anything in the pandemic. I just kind of forgot about it, truthfully. But I think any podcast that has to do with powerlifting right now, it would be like the elephant in the room not speaking about this.
Yeah, and to a degree, it feels like beating a dead horse because everybody is talking about it. But yeah, I mean, to your point, like we can't stop drug testing at every level for the IPF. I mean, I agree. Do I want to stay in the IPF personally? Yeah, I do. Like, I think they have the, top, they're the true world championship competition and things like that. But, I will not vote. I mean, I shouldn't say how I'm going to vote, but I'm not going to be okay with staying in the IPF and that being the top priority. The drug testing is the top priority. And being a place that lifters at all levels can compete on a drug-free platform. Like, that's what the ADFPA was founded on. And like, I genuinely believe in that. And I am very passionate about both of those things. Like, I'm very passionate about the high level competition competing at the IPF level, and very passionate about the drug free. But if I have to choose one, it's the drug free, like, hands down. There's no question there. So, that's it's difficult. It's a difficult spot to be in, like, but then again, it's kind of not, because it's, I don't know. It's just, it sucks that it has to come out. Right. Has to happen like this, I guess.
So if anybody is wondering what we're talking about, you should definitely go to the USA Powerlifting. I think it's in the private group that there's been a lot of chatter about it. There was an excellent post by Joe Lewis talking about this, which has kind of made me review the whole thing again. And it also references a couple podcasts that have been highlighted in that. And, I guess the whole intent behind it is so that IPF could be WADA compliant and be able to apply to get into the Olympics. But I just don't know that it's worth it. Really, it's every 4 years. And, could the United States even send a team based on some of the requirements? And if they did, it would be, a select level of lifters every 4 years. And that just doesn't seem like the right sacrifice to make.
Yeah. And the question comes up, well, WADA compliance is a good thing. Why would you not be WADA compliant? Well, what that actually entails is, 100% of your drug testing is done third party through a WADA accredited agency, which in the US is USADA basically. And it's, don't quote me because I don't remember the exact numbers, but essentially the cost to do a drug test goes up like crazy amount, to the point that financially, like, we cannot drug test the same amount that we are currently drug testing using our, I'm using our labs and our officials doing the drug tests. And the reason that WADA requires the third party testing is because they don't want any quote unquote conflict of interest with the drug testing people. Well, the irony of that is, like, you don't have to do a minimum number of drug tests as long as they're third party tested. So theoretically, if we did like 1 or 2 drug tests out for our 20,000 members, on paper that checks off the box. In reality, what that does is that lets a whole lot of people, especially at the local level, well, really at all levels, not have quite the worry that they're going to be selected for drug testing because there's such a fewer amount being done, or such a lower amount being done. And, as an organization that prides itself on being drug free, testing less doesn't really fulfill that thought process,
No.
And that's what would have to happen just from a financial standpoint. It's just not possible to drug test at the level that we currently are and still, not go bankrupt in 6 months,
Right. And somebody, I think on the thread commented, well, I guess I'll just join that other drug tested federation. And when I say drug tested, it should be in air quotes.
Yeah.
Because that other drug tested part of a certain federation,
That's something that I've heard for a long time that's always really just pissed me off. Like, everybody's like, well, it's not really drug free, it's drug tested. Yeah, I mean, technically, yeah, you're gonna have cheaters, and that's the whole idea. Like, the drug testing, you catch people that test positive, clearly means it wasn't drug free because there were people testing positive. But the whole idea with testing is to weed out those people that are cheating, so that the actual platform and people that don't get disqualified for cheating, you are competing against the actual drug-free lifters. And to your point, the organizations that have a drug tested division and things like that, I don't know a whole lot about them. I've heard stories. I don't think they really care about being drug free. They just have that as a checkoff box so people can say, hey, I was in a drug tested organization. They don't really, again, I shouldn't speak for, I guess what I don't really know, but that is what my gut tells me, is that they're not super concerned about actually catching people. They just want to have the illusion, or I shouldn't even say illusion, ain't the right word. They just want to be identified as somebody that cares about drug testing.
Right. And that is my feeling as well. And kind of the word on the street. And again, you're right. I've not been a member of that organization ever. And, I just know of anecdotal evidence from others talking about it.
Yeah.
So
whatever.
Yeah, that's the drama in the drug-free powerlifting world right now. So yeah. Good podcasts out there. Educate yourself. Go listen to some of them.
And the part that gets me is, like, why, like, especially in the US, there's so many different options for people to go compete where they're not drug tested. Like, why are you trying to compete drug free and claim that you are? Like, that's always bothered me. I don't get it. Like, you that you're taking stuff. Why are you trying to compete drug free? You can still, in the US, there's so many options to go compete and not get drug tested. Why are you claiming to be what you're not? Yeah. Are you that ashamed of it? Is that what it is? Well, failing a drug test isn't going to help that,
Right.
I don't know.
Yep. There's a lot around that Excuse me. Sorry. And yeah, big stuff in the powerlifting world. There you go.
Yeah.
So we should go on to some lighter topics.
Yeah, let's talk about more fun, lighter topics.
Fun things. The Power Ballads section of our podcast.
Yes. So we've been going down through our top 5 80s albums. Laura and I revealed our number 2 album last week. This week, we are going to go through our listener number 1 albums. And we may have to do a follow-up episode to this and actually bring on some of these people to defend their lists. But for now, we're just going to go through and read the number 1. So Ben Green says his number 1 80s album is Holy Diver from Dio. Thoughts?
2 thumbs up.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That's one of those that's like not on my radar either, but as soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh hell yeah, that deserves to be on this list. That's a great album. So yes.
Yeah. And Ben's caveat was, if you've never heard of Rainbow in the Dark or never heard Rainbow in the Dark, I highly recommend it. If you've never heard Rainbow in the Dark, you're not going to enjoy this.
You're not going to enjoy listening to us talk about music on this podcast then, if you don't.
Yes, go away.
So we're down to 1 listener from 2.
There you go. All right. And then Chris Elmore, his number 1 is Master of Puppets, Metallica.
Yeah, so I'll be honest on this one. I really like Metallica. I, off the top of my head, don't know which songs are on that album. So I'm gonna give it 2 thumbs up just arbitrarily because I like Metallica, and I'm assuming that it's not a garbage album.
Not a garbage album.
No,
definitely
I'm sure,
not. No.
Yeah. So do you know any songs off the top of your head on that album?
You know, I would actually have to say no. I don't have like a list, but you know, that's how I am with pretty much almost every album.
Yeah, that's kind of how I
can't remember shit anyway. But I know it's an awesome album. I know I have it in my collection.
Okay, you know what? I just pulled it up, so I'm officially giving it 2 thumbs up. So here are some of the songs on Master of Puppets. These are the ones, I'm not reading them all. These are the ones that that stand out. So Battery.
Don't say.
I just made it now, not as good.
But everyone knows the song you're talking
about. Yeah. Master of Puppets. Actually, those are the 2. Wait a minute. Those are the 2. Oh no, Welcome Home, which Sanitarium. That's the other really, really popular one. So those 3, I think are really good. I'm not sure I would put that number 1, to be honest with you. But I like that album. Like I'm going to have a hard time arguing any of these number 1 albums, I think, because I think everybody's number 1 definitely has merit to be in a top 5. It's just an argument whether it be number 1 or not.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So moving on to Cindi Jaeger. She has Prince, Purple Rain. I think you all know how I feel.
Amazing album. Yes, yeah. That's definitely a possibility for top number 1 spot. Yeah. Purple Rain. Boy.
Yeah, that's a great album. I had that obviously on my top 5. I believe I had it number 5 though. But that was a little bit you can't that could be anywhere. Number 1 through 5, I think, can be justified.
Absolutely. I agree. Stacie Metcalfe's number 1 was George Michael, Faith. Great album. I had this one. I don't know that I put it as number 1. Just because my musical tastes go towards heavier, but it is a great album.
So I'm looking at this list right now. I'm not a big George Michael fan. I don't dislike him, but looking at this album, here's a couple of the songs that stand out that are really good. Faith. So excuse me. So Father Figure is on there. And for whatever reason, I love that song. So, whatever. So,
it's a great album. I remember that one pretty well.
Yeah. So, you know what? I'll give it a 1.5 thumbs.
thumb and a half on the Joshua thermometer.
All right.
Oh, Amy Pancake. I know you're gonna like this one, Josh. I just clipped over to it. Sorry. Thriller, Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah.
Amazing album.
Amazing album.
Although I might argue that on
You're wrong.
on the wall, off the wall, on the wall. God, I'm so bad. Can't remember shit. Is a better album.
Defend that statement.
Defend that statement. Next week.
You got to do your research.
I got to do my research.
You're just going to make an arbitrary statement, then go find the research to support your argument later.
Exactly. Yes.
I see
because I know we're going to discuss this a little bit more.
Yeah. All right. So TBD. We'll remember to talk about that next week. Stephen Fortenberry, his number one, Megadeth, Rust in Peace.
Great album. Stephen Fortenberry also tends to skew towards the heavy stuff.
Yep.
Megadeth being pretty darn heavy, but that's a really good album. I am drawing a blank on any songs on the album at the moment.
Yeah. Let me see here.
The internet's a great thing.
The internet is a great thing. So we have, I'll just go down the list on this, on it. Holy Wars, Take No Prisoners, Poison Was the Cure, Tornado of Souls, Rust in Peace, Hangar 18, Five Magics, Lucretia, Dawn Patrol. I'll be honest, I don't really know these songs.
A little heavy for Josh Rohr.
Yeah, and maybe I do know them. That's the thing. I don't always know titles. I know songs when I hear them. So
all right.
There's a few Megadeth songs I like. None of these stand out to me though, which means I probably just haven't heard them or don't know the titles.
Ditto.
Yeah.
All right. Eric Cordero. He had number one as London Calling from The Clash.
Yeah, great album. It's a great album. He actually messaged me last night and said, "Hey, change that." Because it was released in December 1979, but it was released in the US in January 1980.
So I'd say it qualifies.
I agree. I say it qualifies. So I told him no, I'm not changing it.
No.
Yeah. So I think it's a great album. And by definition, it was released in 1980. So it was in the 80s, even if it was only released in the US. So I think that counts. Yeah. But he was like agonizing about it. He's like, man, I feel guilty. Like I copped out by doing one that was technically not 80s. Well, I think it is. I think it counts.
There were so many albums that I had to re-listen to in making my list too. So I understand the agony.
Yeah.
It's like we're gonna have to do an honorable mention type of.
Shoot, that could go on forever.
I know, it really could though. But I've been listening to so many that I'm like, man, I should have made my list. Oh, it's hard.
Yeah, it's tough.
And when you're a music geek but can't remember the name of songs.
you're a music. So I feel in a lot of ways like I'm a wannabe music geek. Like I like music a lot. I like talking about it, but I really am just not informed enough to really make valid arguments and know the stuff. So,
but that's like part of music, right? Sometimes it's just more of a gut feeling. So I think you can be a music geek without getting too geeky.
Cool. Okay. I'll take it.
All right. All right. We're going to move on to the powerlifting situation. Boom, boom, boom. So you love the gym you train at, and you love your 3 training partners. All 3 of your training partners tell you that they want to change to a new gym, and it's going to add 45 minutes to your drive each way. Ooh, what do you do? Boy, that's a hard one.
Yeah, that sucks. I don't know what I would do. I would probably go with the training partners because, when you're training for meets and things like that, like you have that close knit group that you push each other. I guess it depends on my relationship with the rest of the people at the gym. That's the other thing. Like, if you're at the gym and you love the gym because of the equipment or because of, the music they play, and the only people you really know there are the 3 training partners, then it's a no-brainer. You go with your training partners. If you have well, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, I don't know, because the whole thing sometimes is like kind of the convenience factor. And if you're training 3 or 4 times a week, 45 minutes each way, boy, I think I'd be like, well, guys,
It's been fun.
Or I'd have to split my training time and be like, I'm going to train with you once a week and then enjoy the time we're training once a week, but then the other times, no.
Yeah. There's no really either way on this. In a lot of ways, this feels like the IPF thing. Like, there's both answers have a downside to it,
Bittersweet.
Yeah. But yeah, I think for me, 45-minute drive each way really sucks. Well, that's adding 45 minutes. So who knows how long you were driving before, but I think, if you're really trying to train at that high level, like, you got to have your training partners, I think. And that's probably the route I would go. But honestly, I don't know. I might drive the first day and be like, screw this. I'm not driving 45 minutes extra each way.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
There's that.
Yeah.
And now that I live out in the country, it's 45 minutes to anything. And you can listen to a great podcast while you do that.
Yeah, that's true.
Or 2, or,
Or even listen to the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast.
I was actually referring to this podcast, but without actually saying it. And now you're nice. That was funny. That's good.
Oh man. All right. Our new lifter tip for the week. We've kind of already mentioned this in different ways before, but it's kind of come up again, just in conversation with some people. If you want to start competing in powerlifting, but feel you aren't strong enough, you are strong enough, period. End of conversation.
In capitals, you are strong enough.
Yep. So get into a meet, like, just do it. Like, we say this almost like every other week to some degree, but just freaking do it, man. You won't regret it.
I agree. I've gotten so many, as athletes rep back in the day, I got so many emails saying, this is what I've done in the gym, blah, 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 blah. What total should I be at, to start competing?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, that one.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Awesome. Yeah. Get in. What total do you need? 0. You need a 0 total.
Well, technically, that's not true. Go. Oh yeah. I get you. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So make one. Let's go. It's always the right time to start.
It's the right time. What's that song?
No, I don't know. But
no singing. But I'm trying to remember what the. Yeah. Anyway, well, I'll figure that out for next time too.
There you go. We'll go there for next time.
All right.
Make sure to follow us on Facebook and DM us at PL Ballads Podcast. Email us at plballadspodcast@gmail.com. Make sure to follow us on your favorite podcast app. Like us, give us a rating. We need our listeners, both of them, to go up to like 3 or 4.
Hey, funny thing. I've been looking at some of the demographics or the statistics on our thing, and we actually have a whole lot of international people that listen. I'll have to get the numbers. I'll get the numbers for next week. And
are they Nigerian princes?
Well,
are they bots? Do we have a?
Why?
I'm not a robot. Check.
What's wrong with that?
Hey, whatever it does, whatever it takes to get popular, I guess.
Yeah.
There you go. And if anybody would like to see a certain guest, let us know who we should get on this podcast. We need to get some guests again. It's a little bit trickier now because we are recording during the week at a random time, and that might be a little bit harder to get guests, but maybe not. Maybe we need to do that.
Yeah.
Because Josh and I are pretty exciting, but it might be nice to get some other people in.
I'm pretty exciting.
Yes. We'll have to talk about Josh's chickens soon.
Oh God.
Yes.
Damn chickens.
Damn chickens. There you go.
All right. On that note, we're out of here. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll catch you next time. Later.
Bye now.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode of the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, please remember to subscribe and share it with your friends.